Vacation, Laurie Kilmartin.
Hi, I have to let these dogs out immediately.
You know, you're just such a tender animal lover. It's nice that people can hear that side of you as well.
And also, so very stern. Get out, and then, oh, I guess not. So, just fold like a house of cards, Kashian. Are the kids doing card houses anymore?
They are not. My kid isn't.
Right. And he's been around for 17 years. Not an area card house to be made.
Not yet. But you know what? He has a long life ahead of him.
It's true. It could be something he does in his twilight years. Hey, so you had the journey of 1,000 years again.
I did. I've never wanted to not have a podcast more than this one.
Know in your heart that you were like, do you want to do a podcast? Burns in my brain. Because you're the one.
If I could go back in time, I would leave baby Hitler alive and I would just shut my mouth.
I'll just trade you Hitlers. You were at Dr. Grin, right?
Okay, Dr. Grin's was a lot of fun. And we both got hit by snowstorms, right?
No, I got freeze. I got a freeze.
Oh, we had a lot of snow. It really hurt the Friday shows. Like, they almost canceled the Friday shows. It was the first big snowstorm they'd had in like 2 years, and everyone, because it used to be, I remember this, and I think a lot of people still say this. They go, oh, the Midwest comes out no matter what. They don't care. They started to care during lockdown. A lot of people started staying home anyway. Like, they're like, oh, I'm not missing out. It's fine. And
I'll figure out something else. I gotta get out.
Yeah. Like, they're okay with being home. And so a lot of people, and probably saved their own lives, decided not to come to the comedy show during a snowstorm, that was building up through the night. Might have been a wise move, but so we had 2 really late shows. Saturday was a lot of fun. The Saturday first show, I need to get that video. Jack, you got to clip it out so 64 people will watch it.
Oh my gosh. You clipped out Thursday night so fast. I was like, what? This was the night before. No.
Long that took me. That was almost 3 hours of work.
What?
Okay, so I was like, can I do this mass production, like when I'm on the road, right? So I recorded Thursday.
This was an experiment.
Yeah, I brought my laptop. I brought all the stuff I needed to do that. And sitting and rewatching a video, that's good because in a way, it's good to
then you watch your set. If it's an excuse to get you better at stand-up comedy, there's that.
Sometimes
pain in the ass.
Better at tuning out my own voice, but so I'm listening for things. I'm like, oh, is that something I could put together? So you're then you got to rewind a little bit, grab it, and then whatever. So that takes, if the set's like 50 minutes, that would take double that time, maybe, or maybe like an hour and a half,
right,
or maybe an hour and 15, and then there's editing and then there's putting it into a long form and a short form. Like, what of this can be a minute or under? That's going to be funny. And then you got to make separate little. You just have to make separate little things for all the little apps, right? Little sizes. If there's graphics, which I didn't even do all of that. Those are other apps. And then there's a long one that I couldn't. I guess I don't have my Facebook password saved on my laptop, so I couldn't upload it. But it was just so fucking time consuming and so many little details to remember. Right. And I'm like, that's one show. Then Saturday morning kicks around. I've got 2 shows.
Right.
I have 2 to do. 2 Friday shows to go through. And and luckily, because we were snowed in, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I just got the Friday first show done and half the Friday second show. I got it inputted into the computer. Into the laptop.
Are you just watching it and then logging where the clips might go?
I take it. It's saved as a gigantic,
it's a big video file,
8 gigabyte file, right? And and for some reason my camera splits it in half, so I have to have 2 of them. I have to trim those on QuickTime. That takes a sec. Then I put in iMovie and into one long, like say hour-long file or hour-long movie, and I just start, and then and as soon as I get to a joke I know I finished, I delete it because I just want the crowd work stuff, basically.
Right.
That's it, you just go along minute by minute. It's
Yeah, I wouldn't that's not how I do it. I watch the whole thing. I write down time code for what it is, and then I pull out those clips and then I put them into apps.
I don't know.
Cuz then I know, then I can throw away everything else. And then I just have
I'll
3 or
try
4
it.
clips to work. Yeah, I mean it might shave what, 20 minutes, a half an hour off your life.
I have no
That's
idea.
all.
Then I'm writing time codes. I tend to
Well,
be like, oh, I want to get rid of that and just do it immediately right then. That's sort of my like
yeah.
my
I mean,
goal.
do
I
it
take
do it
it.
however it works. Yeah, obviously.
You take an hour and then you condense it to like 5 or 4 minutes, and then you go through it again and go, all right, is this worth keeping? Does this make sense in any context, etc., etc. It's so much fucking time, Jackie.
I know it. I know it. They're gonna send me all of my clips. They won't. The Comedy Works South started filming again. Kind of awesome.
Mm.
So I'm supposed to get all of those shows. Um, the insanity of it is that I love that club so much, and I love that audience so much because they are essentially my audience, which is exciting. The weird thing that I found out was that, or that I realized this particular, is that every time I go there, I don't have any oxygen. I'm so bad at the oxygen part of it that the first show is just loopy as all hell. And then the rest of and I'm working on so much new material that that I that I it turns out by Saturday I was like, no, I kind of love this. I just meander around my act for an hour 5 times. And it is a gift of that club that I get to do that.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I get to come up with new lines, I get to come up with new premises, I get to come up with, and by Saturday second show, I was like, just do the old bits. Do the old bits that fit in right here and see if they loosen something in the new bits.
Mhm.
And they do. They really do. And so I'm just, but so it was a really, really fun weekend of, once I the first one, because I always feel bad, right? I feel bad that I don't have enough oxygen to do the tightest 55-minute set of my life. And
Jackie,
then, yeah,
what about you promote next time you go, you promote the Thursday show differently than Friday, Saturdays.
as just
Uh
loopy as all, just come on
yeah,
out.
brain damaged Kashian. I am
Everyone
not
needs a
kidding.
theme. Yeah,
Thursday only though,
Thursday,
and
right.
come to both shows. See how much better I am or how different I am. Not better. Maybe you're funnier with less oxygen.
Maybe I
That's for
am,
the audience
right?
to judge,
Right.
you know?
Yep.
But you could bill it that way.
Right. That's a great idea. Just because, you know how people have named their tours.
Yes.
I keep forgetting to name my.
I
I just
know.
it's just I'm on the road, you guys.
I know.
uh,
It's another week of work.
right.
Oh.
It turns out I too am going to work. You know how you go to work every day? Every week I go to work. It's a job, and it's a job I love. But so,
Oh my
but
God. We're not meant for this world. I'm telling you. We're trying our best, but we are not meant for it.
well, to
Um,
catch up on all this stuff. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, but I think that's so cool because you get that Maron experience where the audience is there for you anyway, no matter what, and so you can fuck around and that's exactly what you're doing at those clubs because they'll be there for you if it's like a new bid and it's not formed, they're still engaged. Now,
Right. They're psyched to see the new stuff.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say the Dr. Grin's crowd for me is that, it's in an entertainment complex and, I think at
Yeah.
some point we have people, I've never seen a female comic before. We're at that level sometimes.
Right. It's I don't
And
even know
yeah,
who owns that room. Like who could walk into Dr. Grin's
I don't know either. Yeah,
and Scott Novotny. He's a very old Midwestern
I
comic. I'll
remember
tell
that
you.
name.
Yeah. You know
Is he
what?
still do?
Augie.
Oh,
He is, to my knowledge. He's still
yeah,
doing I still see him sometimes one nighters around Minneapolis. So
yeah.
it's hard to quit, Laurie. It's hard to quit.
It's impossible. I don't know how Lewis Black is going to do it. No, Jameson said I normally sell very well, so they were really bummed about the snowstorm. I mean, it was, you know, I mean, I went out and did my very best, Jackie. But when
Yeah.
it's a big room and there's not that many people there, it's hard. Two in a
Yeah.
row, and when you flew all the way out there, had a massive travel day out there, and whatever. I was looking
Right.
for the Saturday first show. I figured we would have four of those,
Yeah. Yeah.
not one.
Right. Well, and the cold in Denver actually affected, I think, second shows, and it might have affected all of the shows. If I look at the audience, I'm just gonna drive myself nuts. So
Right.
I'm psyched if it's full, and when it and second show Friday and Saturday, it was just half of the downstairs was full. So I didn't,
But
uh,
but that
but it
room,
was 9 below. It was,
Jesus Christ! How did you get
and
from the
Denver.
condo to the club? Were you freezing?
Well, Thursday, uh, the manager Bryce picked me up, and it was five. It's 4 blocks, 4 or 5 blocks,
That's
and
I know.
I was like, well, I'm glad because I have a giant bag of merch, and so I got there Wednesday night, and then Thursday I did radio and local TV,
Yeah.
and then I recorded a Dork Forest with one of their local heroes, Adam Caton Holland. Remember that guy?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
I just did the Telluride Festival with him. He's great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great. And he's a birder. He's another bird. Like 18 years of the
Oh.
Dork Forest, I've never talked about birds. This is the second bird episode in 2 months. The first one, Joe Zimmerman.
Oh,
So
the comic that does the Puppet Randy, that
yeah.
kind of he's an Australian. I don't know if I'm even supposed to say his name, but he's also an intense birder. He was doing a lot of that in Toronto. Yeah.
Uh Adam was telling me that there just a slew of 40-year-old male comics are getting into birding.
I love it.
Because they're trying to be healthier.
Yeah,
And there's
right,
nothing
right,
healthier than getting up pre-dawn to go look at some birds, and it's almost like being stoned because
right.
you can just stare at some
So
birds.
they get up real early. So when they're on the road, they get up super early and look at birds.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. They get up super early and look at birds, and it's dawn and dusk. That's when you want to look at birds.
Okay.
And you had some great bird stories. You had a really sad bird story that I was like, okay, chop chop on a happier bird story, please. That's not what the
Yeah.
Dork Forest is about.
Yeah.
Dork Forest is people are trying to get to sleep here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You're. This is the Midwest, and you deny anyone's real feelings and just trying to keep it upbeat.
well, there's I'm just trying to don't kill yourself today, people. Not today, Satan.
Yeah. So but the shows were fun, and as they were, and then as for what they were fun, right? The people
Right.
that did show up, I was glad. Yesterday was a fucking nightmare. Okay.
Oh, right.
People
Your
kept
travel
saying,
day.
I hope you get out tomorrow. That's what I heard all day on Saturday. I'm like, oh my God,
I
I
got
gotta
that
get out
too.
tomorrow.
I got that
gotta get out.
too. That was weird.
So the flight from Grand Rapids to Denver was fine. And then I land in Denver. Skies are clear, right?
Oh, you kept texting me DIA, which is Dallas.
Oh,
Denver
that's
is
right. Denver's
DEN.
DEN. That's
Yeah.
right.
So I was like,
Okay.
why is she telling me she's in Dallas? But so you flew to Denver and then you
Yeah.
couldn't get out?
Yeah, so I land in Denver. Southwest is canceled, hundreds of flights, and I'm like, fucking Southwest again, right? So now I'm in that a long ass line. Been through this.
What time were you in Denver?
Let's see, probably around 12:20 out of Grand Rapids, so probably about 1:30 ish.
That's exactly when I took off.
Oh, that's weird. Were you in?
Yeah.
Were you in the C terminal or
A?
Delta? Oh, okay, yeah, Delta, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then so so I'm in a long line, right?
Yeah.
The Burbank flight's canceled. So I immediately I get onto Southwest app, I buy a different flight, it goes through like Vegas to LAX. I'm like, this is gonna be a fucking nightmare. And then I land at LAX, but it's better than being here. And then because Southwest is canceling everything, I'm like, I bought one on United as well. And United had one going to Burbank. Well, now I don't know when they made this law, but you have 24 hours to cancel a flight if you buy one.
Yeah.
With no penalties, right? So
Right.
it's not, I mean, except for the fact that you're taking a slot that someone else could be using.
Right. The fact that
which is rude.
I was talking to somebody. I was like, I don't know why she buys like I was Andy. I was like, she buys like a handful of flights as soon as something is
like, because
Yeah.
I know, and I don't trust Southwest, right? So I get up to the thing. There's one more flight. I got the last ticket on the last flight, at 8 p.m. from Denver to. So now I have 7 hours I have to wait. And 8 p.m. from Denver to Burbank, right?
Burbank?
But it's Southwest, so I'm like, all right. So I set up some alarms, and I'm always checking to see that flight's not canceled. So I canceled the second Southwest LAX I bought, but I held on to the United as long as possible. And that as I'm canceling, I'm like, you motherfuckers, you better not cancel this 8 p.m. flight because I had one.
Right.
And they didn't.
Oh, good.
So it was a lot of drama, but I was telling everyone in line only after I bought my tickets. You guys should buy another flight just in case. But wait, let me just click purchase. And when you're taking my ticket.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I always feel like they'll get their shit together, and they did. I mean, and a 7 hour. I mean, get their shit together in a 7 hour layover is not fun at all. Did they buy you a Caesar salad? Did they give you a?
No, I'm going to call them because I don't know if there's assume that legally where they have to give you something, but they could. Here's the thing: other airlines weren't canceling en masse. It's just Southwest, and
we were held about 40 minutes on the tarmac.
Yeah, because to de-ice and stuff.
Probably. I was on my headphones about to watch Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle again. I had a life to lead.
Yeah.
So
I started watching this Netflix series. It's a Spanish series starring the incredibly attractive horny actors, right? And it's they're
your love of a Spanish man continues apace.
So it's called Money Heist, right? So it pops up on my Netflix, Money Heist Berlin, and I think, oh, it's in Berlin, whatever. So I start watching it, and it's funny, it's fast, it's gorgeous, and it's a heist series. It's like 8 hour longs, right? And then I find out there's another version that a couple years old. So I'm like, oh, so I'm starting the first version. Okay, the lead character in Money Heist Berlin is named Berlin. All the, like in Reservoir Dogs, where they all Mr. Pink, Mr. Yellow, Mr. Blonde. Well, actually, there was some yellow. They all are named city names, right? So Berlin is this hot thief, right? And the first one, his character is also there. The first one is very different tonally. It's super dark, and he's a psychopath, and it's actually scary. And I'm like, wait, what happened? It's like different people are like, I love this character. Let's make Hannibal Lecter fun and upbeat and sexy. But
right. It's very Batman. Yeah.
I went backwards where I started with the sexy one and went backwards to the psycho one. But they're both great. Anyway, that's my recommendation. If you don't mind reading subtitles.
So after I got my second DUI in 1998.
Not this story again.
Well, no, I went on the road for the first time, right? So I was scared because I wanted to not drink, right? I wanted to not drink on the road. And I didn't know how it was going to work out because it's free. So so I go on the road, and I was featuring. It was when I was both headlining and featuring on the road, and I would book these 6 to 10 week runs. Coming from LA because
so hard.
Well, because my boss at my day job here was like, you can either do 2 6-week runs a year or one 10-week run, and we'll get a temp for 2 6-week runs or 1 10-week run, and that's it. And you
Wow.
can have your insurance, and it's fine. And so I was like, okay. I know. I'm surprised I still don't have that day job. But
I want it now. Jeez.
I know, right?
Could
And
someone be a temp mom for me for 6 weeks? Oh, that's
right.
supposed to be the dad. Whoops. Go
Wait
ahead.
a minute. And so the I so the first guy I worked with was a guy, and I wish I could remember his name, though it's kind of for the best. But he used to be a guy named like Boston Jimmy. And when I was opening for him, he was like Nashville Jim. And or it was
Wait,
like Boston, like he changed his city
he
name.
changed the city name? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Is
And
that because
so
he was in the city that was he, is that
yeah,
how
he
he
was
booked
working
himself?
out of Boston, and then he was working out of Nashville. And he was headlining.
Nashville Jimmy with a Boston accent was still claiming that he was.
Oh, he played up the twang. He literally he Bill Engvalled it.
Did Bill
Right?
Engvall, is he from LA or something? I thought he was a Southern guy.
Right. Everyone thinks he's a Southern guy. I forget
He's not?
exactly where he's from, but he doesn't talk like that. No.
Oh.
No, he's just a guy. He's
So,
just an
right.
American guy who leaned into an accent that may or may not have been someone he grew up with. It'd be like if I talked with a very Midwestern accent. And what I like
If,
now is that the entire audience is like, you too. In other news,
yeah,
but if I leaned into it, all cripes, like it was be like that.
Jackie, I hella understand where you're coming from.
Well, he was. I will say that that Boston Jimmy was probably wicked smarter than Nashville Jimmy.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, he was sober. He wasn't. He didn't drink, and so I was twitchy as all hell when I worked with this guy. I worked with him at a one-nighter in Rockford, Illinois, called the A-Frame, and
I
or
may have
weekend
worked.
gig.
I did
Yeah.
a one-nighter in Rockford when I was staying with my grandpa in Chicago and doing stuff in Chicago. I may
Yeah.
have done that one.
Yeah, and I was like, so I said, I'm trying not to drink on this road trip. And he goes, I don't drink. And I said, oh, what do you do then? And he goes, I go back to the hotel and I read a book, Jackie. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. I can do that for 25 years. I'm in.
Yeah.
And so in Denver, the features of the openers change night to night. When people ask if they can open for me in Denver, I've always said no, because I like the idea. I don't like the way she runs the Denver club. The local comics get to work in front of different audiences.
Yeah,
I mean,
you don't want to take opportunities because those guys go through a very rigorous system. So by the
it's
time they're
such a
at the
rigorous.
point, you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Yeah, so it is a really rigorous system, and I don't want to. And I know that there's a lot of spots in the Denver area. Like it's a very robust.
Yeah.
But yeah, and one of the opener guys was telling me, he said, everybody's bringing their openers, so we're getting less and less sets. So I genuinely appreciate that. And I do feel bad for the people who are like, well, can I come? But it's a condo, and it's the only condo I stay in, because it's clean to hotel standards. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
And they'll get this. There's a coffee maker, and it's a one cupper, right? And it has that plastic basket. It doesn't have a paper basket. It has a mesh basket that's
I know you're
reusable.
talking about. Yeah.
Well, comics keep throwing it out.
Oh shit! Are you serious? Oh my god.
Yeah. So I texted Bryce, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking of buying a coffee maker, because the things that he's like, I have a 6-pack of those things. People keep throwing them out or stealing them. And I was like, I don't think anyone's stealing them.
They're stealing. Let's not assume the absolute worst, that comics who are headlining the works are stealing mesh coffee baskets.
That literally, the Comedy Works headliners, not a chance. Everyone has $3.50.
Yeah.
So, but he did buy a 6-pack and gave it to me, and then I was psyched. But get this, two things happened. One, the mediocre breakfast place next to the condo closed. So 9
Oh,
below, I had to walk 7 whole blocks for breakfast one morning.
it wasn't replaced by a new restaurant. Did it just
Not
close?
yet. It must have just closed. But that Greek place that was next to it, because I flew in Wednesday night to
Yeah,
do press on Thursday. So that Wednesday night I went to the Greek place because it was already super cold.
right.
And so I go to the Greek place and I witness, yes I do, a first date between two people in their late 50s, early 60s. And the guy
Oh,
will not stop talking. I mean, it was 20 minutes of him just and literally bringing up the fact that, he used to do one night stands and he's still interested in, in sort of first date sex. And this woman is there with her wine glass just like sometimes, like sometimes when when someone says something and you can't keep your face as impassive as you want to keep it.
oh my
And
God.
and so there's like this tick where she's raising her glass to take a drink and she just sort of pauses. And and I'm watching and they're sitting at a high top table and he's got next to him one of those scooters, right? Andy calls them the Harkonnen solution, which is a Dune joke.
Yeah.
And because
She's Kyle laughs. I'm like, oh, this is some nerd shit.
it's some quality nerd shit. And because in the original Dune movie and in the new Dune movie, the Baron Harkonnen has this like jetpack that he moves around in, so because he's very heavy. And
Okay.
so I guess it's a fat joke, but I'm right here. Anyway, so fuck. So but the owner of the place, I've since realized that it was the owner, Yanni himself, came over and started talking to this couple and just talked to the guy.
God.
And I almost went over to her and I said, "Did you want to have dinner with me?"
Jackie, you need to start carrying around little passes to your shows and
Ooh.
just slip one to the lady and go, this'll
Oh, if you could
this'll change your
if you,
weekend.
if you could create 3 more jobs for me, that'd be awesome. I'm just
Oh, I was watching a Sammy Obeid clip, and he's by the way, he's doing really funny stuff on Palestine and Gaza and
Oh,
Israel.
good.
Find Sammy
Oh,
Obeid on your
do you know
social
why?
media because he's
Because he
cooking shit up.
every 2 or 3 times a week that guy goes up on Zoom. So he's getting like quality open mic time in addition to his road work.
Oh, okay.
Because he's still running KO Comedy, or
Yeah,
he's
but
still.
KO's just Friday nights, right?
I thought it was more than that, but yeah.
Oh,
Even if it's just one night a week, you could, because with Zoom comedy, as we know, you could
I was
try
gonna
anything.
say,
People are psyched.
Jackie, we should do another Zoom show for our Patreons and our Mix Funners
I
because
know.
we
And
are a little late on stickers. Oh,
what are we?
yeah, I think so.
I
I think
didn't.
we got it. I think
Okay. I
oh, but
have
what I was
stickers.
gonna,
I have sticker
okay,
ideas. I'll get them printed. Okay.
okay. So what I was saying though is Sammy on one clip, I don't know what club he's at, but behind him in very large lettering, I see half of his username, his Instagram. I'm guessing it's his Instagram or something. It's there's some gigantic poster behind him, and I don't know where he was, or is he bringing a poster on the road, or is this projected on a screen behind him? I don't know what's happening. I need to know because again, this is another thing we should be getting. I guess we got to get all that shit out there all the time.
Well,
It's changing the nature of what stand-up comedy is to me, to constantly having to do all this shit, you know.
yeah,
But it's happening so quickly. This is it's to me it's like tumbling down a hill stand up, and I don't know where it's gonna land, but we have to just keep issuing clips, getting more followers, and turning into these other things that maybe if you're just starting, that's what you're used to. But I think even a lot of
yeah.
comics younger than us are kind of shocked by all the new sort of work that you have to do to,
Well,
um,
when
I
we
don't know.
started, the biggest time suck was hanging out,
Hmm.
right? And so what probably happens, I hope anyway, is that the amount of hanging out you have to do is also real, still to some extent, because you do need stage time if you're going to get any good.
Yeah.
But they're probably clipping things out and posting things and making posters and doing all the things while they're hanging out. I remember
Wild?
it was
No.
yeah.
Then they're going home and clipping out. You're sitting in the back of the room, opening up your laptop and iMovie and editing in the back of the room.
Yeah, all done on the phone. The fact that
Yeah.
you're doing it on your laptop, I think is unique. I think that it
I
can
have
all
an
be done on the
8
phone.
gigabyte file that I'm clipping down to 4 minutes. I can't do that on an iPhone in the back of the room.
I did.
8
I
gigabytes?
yeah, they're full hour long sets, and this has like a terabyte on it. My phone.
But it
So
has enough RAM to handle that a big of a file?
yeah, it doesn't look good.
I want
I-
video of you doing this. I want video of somebody doing this. I want someone in the back of the store on their iPhone editing an hour-long clip in the belly room.
But the thing is they're new comics. They're probably not editing an hour long clip. I've done an hour long clip, and it's an
true.
irritant. But if the noobs are doing, the previous
5
night,
minute sets.
yeah,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
So-
that's true.
they're probably and they don't know any better. Like just like we didn't know any better. We're
Right.
sitting there listening to "Hey, come sit on my face" jokes, and we're like, "That's what comedy is." I guess it's where you have to sit here and listen to some fucker talk about fisting you, and you're just like, "All right," and you're like, "Can I at least get 5 minutes?" And like every gross thing that every old gross dude ever said to me, I remember in my mind. This is how it played out. Dude says gross thing, and I go, yeah. Anyway, are you gonna book me? And so that's the conversation in my head.
Here's the thing. If you have maybe enough followers, you maybe don't have to hang out. You just send them a screenshot of your numbers. You never have to meet a booker. You just
maybe
go,
not.
here's what
Maybe
I
not.
can bring. I have no idea. That it's whatever.
Yeah.
Again, I couldn't believe how long it took me. I have so many really long sets that and when I get off stage, I immediately go and try to sell merch.
Yep.
Right. So the set leaves my head. I might remember one or two things. I can make some little notes, or I'm just like tired and I have to reset for the late show.
Yeah.
And then by the time
Yeah.
I get home for the week, I'll have like 4 or 5 hour long sets. And I'm like, I don't know what happened when. So now I got to listen to all of them, and they built. I'm going back to 2023 where I have this thing compiled where I'm like, I know there's good little clipettes in here. I just have to
right. All
fucking
that stuff
set
that you digitized.
oh, that I hadn't even. That would be when I'm on my deathbed and I don't have anything else to do. There's
Wow. Yeah.
or I get super
Except for
wealthy.
that, you picked a couple of really old. You posted a couple of really old ones this week. So that were amazing, or they came up in my feed for the first time.
Okay.
And
oh, you took me off mute finally. Thanks, Jackie.
So I will say this: 2 things happened with merch this week. Is that it was 9 below, so I sold a boat ton of hats. I sold so many hats.
Maybe I'll buy some of our beanies for my Detroit week at Royal Oak.
Oh, right. That's right. You're doing all the Michigan stuff again.
I've got a ton of Michigan work. Yeah.
Yeah. Last year I did all the Michigans. I did Traverse, Ann Arbor, Grins, and Royal Oak. This year, just Ann Arbor. Or this last year. Whatever. But the crazy thing. So the other thing that happened merch wise is I think it was Friday first show.
Yeah.
A guy came up to me, and my dad predicted this, but it's only happened. It's only the second time.
Yeah.
This guy was like, "Hey, will you give me a deal if I buy a lot of those challenge coins?" And I said, "A guy bought 40 of them for $25 each with shipping, so no." And he said, "I'll buy 20 if you give me a deal." And then he said $18 each, and I didn't feel like.
You sell them for how much? 25?
20. They're 25 online just because.
Oh yeah,
and it makes sense with the shipping. because and all the
Yeah,
stuff
I
on
get
my
it.
merch page. But I should have given that guy a deal because it was one giant 40. It was a box of $10,
Yeah.
$20 shipping.
Yeah, that
But I
ship's heavy
didn't.
too.
But
Oh, well, you're a
but
cruel woman. I always
that's
tell
what
people
that's what
that.
happens. Well, but I did give this guy. I was like, you want 20 of them? And he was like, yeah, I'll give you $18 a piece. And I was like, fine. And so he bought 20 coins at $18 a piece. And then he said, will you throw in a t-shirt? And I said, not a chance. And I said that the t-shirts are union made. Those cost me $15 a piece. The challenge coins are toddler made, and I can't remember who made how much they are. But at one point I thought they were $11 each, but I don't think they were. So
What is wrong with people? Jackie, okay, on one of our Friday shows, I think it was a second show, there was a girl's 21st birthday party, right?
okay.
Now, she was obnoxious, a little obnoxious, right? Her party was a little obnoxious.
Okay. Her
They were on
gathering.
the precipice of you wanted to smash them in the head, but there's so few people there, you really couldn't.
Right.
And so at the end of the show, I'm doing those little centaur pins for
Oh
pay
yeah.
what you want.
Oh, are you?
It's not big money. All right. I'm
No.
just trying to do something, right?
Yeah.
And while my books are being held hostage, I will never complain about carrying books again because I really miss selling them. Anyway, so I have them, and her party comes up. She's like, "Can I have a free one? It's my birthday." And here's the thing: had she tried to pay, I would have given her a free one. But the way she said it, I was like, "No,
No.
I'm barely making anything tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can pay. Your boyfriend can pay $5 for a fucking pin, and
Right.
he did.
And he
But
did.
but that was annoying.
Yeah.
You know, like what do you? We're all
The
we're
pay
all
as
trying
you
to make money here,
well,
and
which
it's
is why
not
the pay as
much.
you will can fuck itself, quite
It
honestly.
can't.
And I
Some
know that
people don't want to pay.
right. Well, and I know that it's a twist on the I'm an artist, I shouldn't have to set a price point. But as we all know, I've embraced setting a price point. So,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I guess I could just say they're 5 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And let's do comic of the week. I here's what I pray. We've already done her. You've somehow missed her on the list, and she's getting a second comic of the
I
week.
know that's what I thought.
Right.
And she pointed out last week at our live show. We should talk about our live show in a sec. But that she'd never been a comic of the week, and I'm like, get your lying face out of this showroom! How dare you sully me with this lie? And then I went back and looked at our very long list of comedians, and
Right.
Amanda Cohen's name was not on it. I was
That
shocked.
is it's an injustice.
Yeah, that's
Because
a
first of all,
travesty. We should
it's
be
a
taken to jail.
very much so. Super
Yes.
smart, really
Yeah.
funny,
The best.
and grinds it out like nobody's goddamn business. So
Grinds,
Amanda Cohen,
grinds. Yes.
yeah. So her stand-up is smart and funny, and you should book her. And she works harder than you do.
Yes.
So how about that? How about that? What's her handle on the Instagram?
Amanda Cohen 27. AMANDACOHEN 27. Go
Yeah.
follow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So there you go.
I was searching for Amanda, and it was Amanda Searles. And I realized, and then I'm like, wait, why can't I say her last name? It's like rural juror for me. But then I was like, oh, rural juror is also like rural juror for me. Anyway, but see, now we have 2 Amandas. We have double Amandas.
Well, that's not bad.
Thank God.
That's, I mean, I'm sure we have like a flock of Jessicas.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Georgia
We have
Comstock
we have
opened
a-
for me one show this
murder.
weekend, and she's so funny. Oh, a murder?
A murder of Jessica's. Okay. So, and why Georgia Comstock came to your head? Because of the Comstock laws? And
No, because she was already a comic of the because always
oh.
because I thought about the Comstock, the Conestoga
Calistoga. Oh yes, my
God,
favorite
remember?
city in Northern California.
Well, that's the name of the Pioneer wagon. That was the brand name. It was like the Kleenex of Pioneer
Oh,
wagons. Yes.
you just, this is a preview of our senility, where we just, whatever words pop in our heads, that's where the subject moves to. Oh, that word reminds me of a different word, so let's change topics. Yeah,
Live show.
so, yeah, oh, the live show was really fun. We had a really good turnout.
Yeah, pretty good turnout. Yeah.
Sadly, okay, you hosted.
Yep.
This is my complaint on stage. I'll repeat it here because I got a good laugh. Is that you didn't list anyone's credits. We had some heavy hitters, and you're just like, this person's a delight. Yeah, they also had an HBO special, Jackie.
Well,
Okay,
I just
so you
right, Carmen Morales.
First of all, Jenny Yang got sick, and then you're like, Jenny's sick. You know,
Oh,
she
I
has
have my
either the
own bone to
flu-
pick with you about the because you're like you have to tell people when you bring Carmen up that she isn't Jenny Yang, and Jenny Yang got sick, and I was like, that's gonna. I didn't even think how awkward that would be, and I did it, and here's how awkward it was. Bruce Smith chastised me.
You didn't just say she was sick. You could just say Jenny Yang couldn't make it. For people that are waiting for Jenny Yang, because we promoted the show heavily. Jenny's
Well, I
in a
should have
new
said it at the
Netflix
very.
show.
I
Yes.
should have said it at the beginning, and yes.
Right. Okay. So, but you brought you're
You made
like,
it
Jenny.
weird, and I made it even weirder. And then I had to listen to Bruce Smith and Carmen Morales both bust my balls. So,
But you were like, well, our first comedian. Listen, Jenny Yang is sick, and then you started riffing on potential diseases Jenny had, which she just probably had a flu or something. And then you're like, yes,
Did
you
I?
did. Carmen, I have it on tape. Carmen's intro was you riffing whatever Jenny Yang might have had. When
well,
she had
I
an
literally
HBO
I should be
special.
taken out and shot. It wasn't okay. I mean, I'm pretty psyched that Carmen did well. Everybody did
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, and Carmen's new bit about coleslaw fucking killed me.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Lynn and the fact that she bought a Tesla and
Oh
she
my
couldn't
God.
be more embarrassed when she was like, I wanted one. Leave me alone. And then it was Jasmine Ellis, and then it
Yes.
was me and you. Who else was? Am I missing anyone? How did I?
Skylar Higley.
Oh, Skylar Higley. Right.
So Skylar is a man, but we,
Right, that's why I
we
forgot
like
him.
to diversify. And Skylar he wrote for Conan, but during the
And
Zoom
just
era.
moved to Los Angeles.
Yes, and then after he's from Chicago, so he stayed in Chicago and wrote on the Onion, and he's now writing for After Midnight. So when he was leaving the Onion, he just made a thread of his greatest hits on the Onion, and just so fucking funny. You find it if you can, but he's on
Okay.
After Midnight now. Anyway, he's new in town, but he's a really really funny comic.
Oh God, I'm worried. He was talking about, and it wasn't him that made me, but I'm nervous for After Midnight because Taylor Tomlinson, right? Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So it's an hour. It has to be all games for an hour.
Does
and
it?
they've had
How do you know? I mean, they could do whatever they want. They have the hour.
no, because Skylar told me.
Oh, it is all games?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they've only had 3 or 4 weeks because Christmas was in the middle from the hiring because
Yeah.
of the strike. So
That's a tight turnaround, but
so
yeah.
I hope that it's another woman
It's
gets late night show, but
and
I hope
4
you
days
can
to
do
put
it while
together.
but I'm gonna actually chop off your left leg while you
Well,
see how you run this race. Yeah.
if it can be a great showcase for stand-ups, which is great for potentially us or not, but so that's cool. I hope
Right.
it.
Right. I
And
hope she has stand-ups on.
and well, yeah, of course they will. That's the whole first first at midnight was stand-up based, right?
It was, but this is on CBS, and it's an hour long, so maybe they'll have like actors.
Yeah,
I hope.
probably, but
Yeah, but
they're
like
gonna
I hope to get work because it's being
a
done
lot.
here. Yeah.
Yes, but a lot of actors are not comfortable being spontaneous. You've seen you've seen late night hosts interview actors. I mean, it's like pulling teeth, a lot of them, right? They're just not,
Right.
they're actors. They're not necessarily funny. So yeah, we'll see. But I mean, it's a, Jackie, I don't have to tell you this. It's a different era now. You know, people don't watch late at night. They watch it the next morning via clips. And so that's, you know, that's a perfect scenario for a late night show that has comics telling jokes. It really
Would
is.
be great. It'll
Yeah.
be I really do hope it works. I genuinely do, obviously.
Yeah. And just something a little
Because
different
she's
than,
really funny.
Mhm, yeah,
She's probably what, 15 years in?
I think so. Yeah. She started pretty young. I think she just turned 30. So,
Right. And yeah, so she might just be 12 years in. But I will say this,
mhm.
she became pretty popular very fast. So she's had like I think she's had a lot of stage time in those 10,
Ton of
12
stage
years.
time. Ton of stage
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Which is what makes you better. And
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
yeah. That's when, you know, it's what I've been talking about this we've talked about it too, but like, if you are pulling crowds in because you're funny on video, which is
Yeah.
great, but you haven't learned how to master a crowd, does my question is, does that matter to that audience? Like, if they just wanted to see you in person and your hour is kind of, the first 15 are fun and then it gets repetitive every week because you only do, certain thing on TikTok or whatever, do
I
they
think
care?
I think they do. I think it has backfired a couple of times where people are like,
Where,
there's not enough material or there's not enough here to
yeah,
watch for more than a half an hour or 20 minutes.
well,
It was a real problem from Last Comic Standing back in the day, right? When
oh,
sort of
right.
younger comics would win Last Comic Standing, they'd get like all these headline weeks. And by the end of the year, you had 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's why Maria's and she wasn't on Last Comic Standing, but she ended up getting like a big year of headline work. And that's why her first album is called the Burning Bridges Tour. And because in the beginning of the year, it was, she'd do as much time as she wanted. One of my favorite stories is they booked he booked her in Vegas. Sharippa, remember that?
Oh,
And
right.
MGM.
Mhm.
And first show,
No, the Riviera,
the Riviera. That's right. And so she goes up, she eats it so hard, she gets off stage, goes and gets her luggage and goes to the airport. 14 show week, 12 show week.
She missed the second show. She
Yeah,
didn't even do this. Oh my God, I love
I
it.
believe that is correct.
Oh my God, that is epic.
And she was like, "Oh, this isn't for me.
Is it gonna get better?
It's
I
not
can't.
gonna get better.
Oh my
I'm
God,
not gonna do this."
that is
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah,
Oh, Jackie. Oh, so last week, so I was opening for Maron at Largo,
yeah,
right?
yeah. That's
So,
neat.
I mean, Largo's always, it's high profile. There's always some heavy hitter in the audience. They just get a lot of like top level showbiz people who want to see a comedy show that go to Largo instead of
Yeah,
like a regular stand up show, right?
yeah.
And so you kind of know that, you plan
Oh, you
accordingly.
always know it. Yeah,
I do want to try a little bit of new stuff, but I was like, yeah, it's Mark Maron, so his audience is like fun to, you know, they're willing to go different places too, so it's fine, right? So I get there, and there's a couple guest sets. All right, um,
right.
Judd.
Jesus and
First of all, Judd Apatow. I had
right.
never met him. We just interacted online. He's very, very nice, and we were
Sure.
talking, and I was trying to what oh, fuck, I already forgot it. Never mind. I referenced the wrong show that was canceled, and I realized that afterwards, and I'm like, oh, I sounded like an idiot. But luckily, I was masked, so maybe he couldn't hear me. And so he did a show, but also Adam Sandler.
Right.
So Adam Sandler was there. I'd never met him before, and he brought his dog, who's like a bulldog, like the original bulldog with the teeth that come out under.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
very chill, and it looked like a pudgy, chill version of Charmy, right?
Right.
And so he's, he was very nice, and we all took a picture together, and then Mark gets up, and he looks sort of I think he was slightly like, I don't want to follow all these guys either.
Right.
Because so he gets to meet us a couple minutes and he just says it's a big show. I wasn't expected to follow who I'm gonna have to follow, and I'll tell you later. And then he brings me up and I do like 12. And then Apatow goes up and he does a ton of jokes that he's emceeing the DGA awards, I think. So like a ton of showbiz jokes, which were great.
Okay.
Sandler goes up, does 10. Guess who stops by during Apatow's set? Nate Bargatzi.
Oh,
Nate
right.
Bargatzi. So then Nate goes up after Sandler, and then so Mark's following like me and then 3 massive names.
Right.
And so he goes up, and while he's on stage, Zach Galifianakis shows up. More.
Right. At least you went first.
God.
Here's the thing about Largo.
Because he started
Oh.
late. Mark was already up for his hour, so
Oh, there you go.
so Zach was just hanging out. But I was like, this is too many famous comics. I can't. I'm very I'm more in my element at Dr. Grin's, with
Yeah. Except for
I
that
don't know.
you, of course, crushed. But I will say this about Largo is that the more famous you are, the earlier you get to go up because you want to go home. So the last time I did it, I had to follow all of those motherfuckers.
No.
And then Patton, Patton did laugh.
Yeah.
But it was but it was they all want to go home. So you're just like, oh, okay, okay, all right. That person's John Hamm, Matt Damon, Tom Papa, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna just do these 15 minutes worth of jokes and I'm gonna get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah,
And-
famous comics don't necessarily want to go to a big old comedy club with a ton of comedians. Going up to them and talking to them afterwards too. Like at Largo, you are protected, right?
Well,
it's just
weird.
be like 3 or 4.
Hey, let's take a second break for a second. Yeah. I don't know. So I'm doing my don't tell this week.
Ooh.
And Carmen Morales turned me on to a stylist.
Yeah.
And she sent me pictures of outfits.
Oh.
And she's like, "Do you want these outfits? And I was like, "Oh, I thought you just shopped and I was a cardboard dressy Bessie and you just fucking squoze me into these things and walked away."
Do you have to do work? That's unacceptable.
No, well, all I had to do was pick something.
Oh, okay.
And then I said, "Well, now what happens?" And so I picked 2 of the outfits that I didn't want to look at any of the outfits, but there they were.
Right. Yeah.
And but which is, I mean, of course, I have to do some of the work. I'm supposed to pick some fucking thing.
Jackie,
She doesn't.
When you're famous, they do all the work for you. The morning show ladies, they just show up. Their stylists have picked out outfits. They put them on, and then they go tell the news. It's nice.
Wait, you don't even have to tell them like what colors you want, or
no, that's their job.
I suppose you could tweak it if you wanted to, but if you don't want to, you don't have to.
After like 2 weeks, they know your taste. They probably know your taste in a half an hour. And then their entire job, the rest of their lives, which is union, is to buy clothes or borrow clothes that look good on you and you can wear while you're hosting the Today Show or whatever. So yeah, that life exists. We don't have it.
No, we don't have that. But like today after we record this, it's, by the way, we're doing this crack of dawn.
Yeah.
On Monday because of Laurie's horrible travel day. And I couldn't have been happier when you texted me and said, "Could we do it tomorrow morning?" I was like, yes.
Really?
Yeah. And granted, at 7 a.m. when I set the alarm, I was like, no, I'm not happy anymore. But last night,
not easy. Yeah.
I just hung out. Chris is out of the hospital. She's in a rehab place.
Okay.
But she's slightly confused but she is so much better. If you could get somebody out of the hospital, they'll live.
Yeah.
It turns out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
oh, really?
yeah.
Jackie, you're talking to the wrong person with
that that's story. Right. Oh shit. Yeah. But you'll get this. Everybody's got COVID now. Not at her rehab place has COVID protocols. So Andy brought her brother and sister-in-law have flown in. They're in their 80s, have flown in from Florida and Mississippi to see Chris.
Oh God.
And Andy took him to the rehab every day. They've been going to the rehab place to visit Chris, and every day they have to take a COVID test before they go in. And
Good.
yesterday, 2 of them tested positive.
Wait, you're those two in-laws?
Her in-laws, yeah, in their 80s.
So what are
They
they
went
doing
to
now?
well, they weren't PCR tests, so they went then to an urgent care to take PCR tests. And they find out today at 9 whether they actually do have COVID or if it were false positives.
I doubt it's false. The current strain of COVID is one where Ellie, her last name starts with a K. It's like Carmen doll or something like that. She said that she had symptoms for 4 days. Was like, I fucking know it's COVID, and she didn't test positive till like day 5. And
Well, this is
people are
day.
saying this.
It was did not test positive, did not test positive, and then it's been yesterday I believe was day 4, and then they tested positive.
See, here's my thing. We're on the first 4 days. Were they contagious on those days if they weren't testing positive?
Right, and no symptoms. I don't know if they were contagious, but no
that's
symptoms.
why it was so dangerous. That's why it's always been dangerous, is asymptomatic spread.
But I will
People
say
don't
this
know
about the
they're sick.
rehab place: they give you a brand new, like super duper 95, like not even R95s. There's some even thicker.
Yeah.
And so hopefully nobody has they didn't bring COVID into because they were on airplanes flying from Florida and Mississippi.
And right.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me. So I got the rehab center that my mother stayed in and got COVID in, and obviously ultimately died from it. They're being sued. The company that owns them, these fucking rehab centers are the worst. And it's America, so it will never be addressed. You just have to pray you don't get sent to one day when you're 80, right?
Wow.
So they're being sued for being understaffed, right? And so I sent them a letter, or I called them and I said, well, it was, how many days were you in this center, and we'll give you X amount of dollars for each day. And I got the letter because my mom lived with me, and I said, well, this is for my mom. She stayed there until you guys gave her COVID, and then she died. And they you know what they offered? $100. So I didn't take it. I have no idea if there's this is a class action lawsuit, so they're paying out a lot of people.
Right.
I just figured it's not worth it to take it if there's ever a chance that we have a different sort of case because she got COVID. Did you know, because I'm doing a ton of press, Melanie VC redid my website. We're, gearing up for the release of my special. It looks great. But so I was going through old articles written about me about when my mom was dying, because I was tweeting it if people are new to the podcast.
Yeah.
And so one of the tweets that someone had quoted, I think maybe the Washington Post, was, and I remember when this woman told me this, over 50 people got COVID in 1 week at this place on the floor that my mother was in, like the entire fucking floor. It was the most irresponsible medical care that I can imagine. I mean, I can imagine worse, but it was horrible. So whatever. So they're being sued, is my point. And they're offering people that died under their care $100.
Wow.
Which is the amount JetBlue gave me for sitting next to a masturbate.
So is it Kilmartin.com or is it LaurieKilmartin.com?
They both resolve to the same place. Kilmartin.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I had Melanie redo my Dork Forest page.
Oh.
You should have her do the Jackie and Laurie page, as long as she's tweaking stuff.
Well, I mean, that's a separate cost that we would have to incur.
Well,
so we could check it. We should.
We have a Patreon. Everyone should join the Patreon. And because the Dork Forest page has always been on WordPress.
Yeah.
And she was, and now I have a Squarespace, and I'm paying for Squarespace, so I might as well. And she's like, "It's just adding another page," and I'm like, "Yeah, just adding another page." And she's like, "Okay." And then she quoted me how much she was doing it for, and she put it together, and it looks great. So if you go to dorkforest.com or thedorkforest.com, it's great. And so I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, we do.
If we did Jackie and Laurie, yeah.
We should get new pictures, you and me
Oh,
together. We
well,
have some cool pictures, but then we're talking,
more money. So,
right.
yep. It's as soon as my Don't Tell go viral, I get a million new followers, and then I get to work. I don't know what is the point of getting a million new followers, Laurie? Would
I
it
don't know.
be that I would get to would the chains then care? And do I want to work the chains, or do I want to do small theaters?
I
And
have no
here's
idea.
I don't my favorite amount of people to do stand-up comedy for is genuinely 260 to 300 people.
Yes. I don't want to be. I'm not a theater act.
It's
You
the
know, I
sweetest spot, right?
Yes. Right, right, right.
So,
And it's
what do I
manageable.
want? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Theater act is like being on your best behavior. And
Mhm.
I kind of to me a comedy club's kind of like a dirty little place where you go to hear dirty little thoughts.
Oh.
And a theater isn't like that. A theater is more it's more elegant. And I'm not an elegant lady. I think we know that about me.
Well, Louis CK does theaters, and he's a dirty little man. So,
Jackie, should we
mhm.
promote our gigs?
Oh, we should promote our gigs before we go away.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
yeah. What do you
I'll
got?
go first. Next Thursday, January 25th, I'm in Lafayette, Louisiana at the Academia Center for the Arts. Friday and Saturday, I'm in Paris, Texas, in Tower City for the Comedy Festival. That's the 26th and 27th. February 1st through 3rd, I'm in Royal Oak at the Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle. Glendale, Arizona, the 16th and 17th of February, I'm at Stir Crazy. And that's all that we have on my wait. We got to add more dates because I have a lot more. I'm at Ann Arbor in March. Check out Ann Arbor's calendar.
All right.
I'm at
You're going to
you
Ann
gotta
Arbor in March. Good for you.
yes, and Vermont in May. I'm I'm also doing some it's a winery. It might be a private gig in March, but March 14th I'm at Silver Springs at the Impossible gig, or you did it with
Improbable comedy?
Improbable Comedy. I'm doing that on a Wednesday night or Thursday night.
Nice.
Guys, I'm freestyling now. Okay, Jackie, what do you got coming up?
Well, first of all, I want to tell people the $10 Patreon. I'm going to work on those stickers this week, and know in your heart that there will be stickers. So
Yes,
if you give $10 a month, you get a sticker every month, and we send them out in batches of 3. So
yes,
it's just a little bit behind. So this
right.
Friday, I'm taping the Don't Tell comedy, like just a 10-15 minute set. That's down in Redondo. I think that
Yeah.
they offer tickets if you go there. Next week, Wednesday, I'm doing it is a private gig, but it's weird. If you're a member of the Egyptian theater, the Pharaoh level in Park City, Utah, you can come see me. By the way, Park City, Utah is another half a mile up into the sky. So watch me do 2 55-minute sets as I meander around my act.
Wait,
Congratulations.
you have to do 2 in a row oxygen deprived sets.
Yeah.
Oh, Jackie.
Welcome to
Oh, Jackie.
January 25th, Park City. And then the 27th, I'm doing Sketchfest. I'm opening up for Maria in San Francisco. That's she's doing the Palace of the Arts, I believe, the Saturday the 27th. I will also be there. So feel free to come to that. I'm doing that Sunday, I'm doing an Elysian set with Neil Hamburger. The 28th, that's here in Los Angeles. And the 1st through the 3rd of February, I'm going to be doing Rooster T. Feathers. So
Ooh,
Cockadoodle-Doo up Sunnyvale.
yeah.
And then I'm doing a benefit for my friend Jennifer McLean's high school. That's right.
Okay.
Tuesday, February 6th. And then Wednesday, February 7th, I'm opening for Maria in Ontario at one of those improvs.
Okay.
And other than here's the big thing. In February 16 and 17, I'm opening
Mhm.
for Maria in both Fargo, North Dakota and Duluth, Minnesota.
Oh
And
my
those
God.
are gigs that I haven't done in decades. So if you live in
Wow.
Fargo or in Duluth and you haven't had a chance to see me, you'll get to see Maria do a long set, but I will do 25 as well. And I promise to do the barrel joke.
Ooh,
Very
Jackie. I
exciting.
mean, people got to show up for that. This Friday, by the way, I'm at the Ice House. I'm doing Sharon Mahoney's show. So check out
Fun.
Sharon Mahoney. She's selling the Ice House tickets. She's producing it. And then on Saturday, I'm at the West Side in Santa Monica, if you're a LA person. And then, guys, just do you guys hear the garbage trucks coming?
No.
That's how early
No.
we're doing this. The
Right.
garbage trucks are coming. My special comes out January 30th. It's called Cis Woke Grief Slut. And it's, it's free to watch on so many platforms. I'll list them all soon, but Amazon Prime, Comedy Dynamics has their own YouTube page. You have to pay by watching ads. But I mean, if you watch it, it really helps me. You could,
Yeah, and
I don't know.
put nice comments. There you go.
Could you help us, since we're out here talking over garbage trucks?
I did just hear the garbage
Yeah.
trucks.
They're driving by my Christmas tree I left out. You pick that fucking thing up.
Do you have the 311
appreciate
app?
it.
Anyway.
I gotta get it. So
You guys, yeah. This is an extra 6 minutes of
Yeah.
the Jackie
What?
and Laurie show.
Crazy.
We've
end
gone
it
over.
now.